Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Traugott from she'slosingit.com. A lot of times people ask me questions about motivation, especially how am I motivated to do things when my life is really difficult? How do I do that? So today I thought I'd tell you about one of the toughest times in my life. At the time I had agreed to do a Spartan run and I was going to blog about it, and it was going to be on May 10th. When I agreed to go and do the Spartan race, it was January, and my mom had just stopped doing chemo. Her timeline for when she would live, they figured she would be around until September, and so I figured, sure, May 10th, it's Mother's Day weekend, this will be perfect. My mom will still be fine. At the same time, I had also planned a Traugott family reunion with 40 of my husband's relatives. It was going to be a really chaotic weekend. His aunt was going to go and stay with my mom, and his dad was going to come with us to the Spartan race. My husband and I were going to run the Spartan sprint in the morning at 10:30, and then at 12:30 we would all kind of get together and see the kids go and do their Spartan race. At the time, my daughter Riley was 7 and my son Henry was 5, and they were so excited about it. We had been training, and actually I shouldn't even put in quotes, we were really training. So we had the kids carry buckets up hills, and we had them running around the park, and I even had my trainer give a couple training sessions with them. So they were running with parachutes and flipping tires and doing rope pulls, and so they were really excited. And it was funny because my son Henry, he was in kindergarten at the time, and people would go and say like, oh, are you doing soccer? And he's like, no, I'm a Spartan. That's like being a ninja. So he was really cute, and they were both like really into it. In any case, it had all worked out perfectly, except God had his own obstacles for us to deal with. At the end of April, my mom woke up one day and her leg was swollen from her hip all the way down to her toe. And it turns out that it was a blood clot that was in her leg, and it had also spread to her lungs. And this was just an offset to the lung cancer that she had. It was the same time that my daughter was making her first communion. Really rough. My mom wasn't able to go and see because she couldn't walk, and she ended up passing away. And I remember coming in this field, and much like you see right now, it was covered in wildflowers, and I just cried for a really long time. And I had to obviously cancel the family reunion, and my Mother's Day was not spent running a Spartan race. I was on a plane to New Jersey writing my mom's eulogy. I dealt with the funeral and said goodbye to my mom. I felt like it was important for me to run the Spartan race the following weekend when I got back. Not only because I had promised to, in terms of a business relationship, I had agreed to blog about it, but also because my kids had trained so hard. And so I thought, what better way to honor my mom and my daughter and my kids? Let's run this Spartan race. My game plan had to get all switched, so my husband stayed with the kids and I ran the race by myself. And normally I love this kind of stuff. You're running over 8-foot wall, 3 8-foot walls in a row, and you're climbing through the mud, and you're lifting heavy things. But on this day, I just did not want to run, and it was just one obstacle after another, and I was carrying this really heavy, awkward bucket that was full of rocks, like 40 pounds worth of rocks, and we had to walk through this muddy pond, and I slipped and I twisted my ankle, and I was just so mad. But I couldn't quit because I was in the middle and I had to get to see my kids race. I just did what a lot of people do in a tough situation, which is you just focus on the moment. And in that moment, I just needed to stand up, get out of the pond, get out of the muck, and make it to the finish line. So their race started at like 12 o'clock. I finished my race at like 11:54 and 30 seconds. So I had just enough time to run over to their race and to see the kids, and they ran their heart out. I mean, my daughter, she went running. She lost a shoe in the mud. That didn't stop her. She just kept going. My son, he took off like the little ninja that he is. And I was just so proud of them, and I was so happy that they were able to go and get that experience. Your life is a lot like a Spartan race too, you know? You think everything's going fine, you have it planned all perfectly, and then shit happens, pardon my French. Like a giant 8-foot wall that comes up, somebody dies, or you get divorced, or you're betrayed by a friend, or you get fired for or your house is foreclosed on, or just some horrible thing in your life happens. And so in that moment, you just have to focus on getting through it. And then when you get to the finish line, you can look back and realize just how strong you were. So I didn't mean to cry, but it's right around the anniversary of the day that my mom died, so I'm kind of emotional. But I just wanted to share that story with you, and maybe you have somebody in your life who you care about who's going through something hard. Feel free to share this video because if I can get through a mud run a week after my mom died, I'm sure you can all look through your own lives and find the toughest moments in your life and realize that you got through them too. I just want you to feel empowered. And I just want you to remind yourself that you can get through anything. And I'm here to encourage you. And I promise I won't cry in tomorrow's video. Anyway, I'm Lisa Traugott. My blog is she'slosingit.com. And please like and subscribe. And I'll talk to you soon. Be healthy.